friends, I hope you're having an inspiring day. So today's video is a little bit different and I felt like a necessary one for the beginning of 2021 because we have been through it together, friends. And amidst all of my fashion and style videos, which is obviously what I post the most here on this channel, I just wanted to sit down with you and chat and tell you what's up and how I'm feeling and how I'm doing and see how you guys are doing and feeling. And I feel like there's so much that has happened throughout last year that I didn't fully share, at least not here on YouTube. I most definitely did on my Instagram. But I figured I would take the opportunity to sit down with you, look at last year and kind of talk about what I'm personally feeling and looking forward to this year. And we're gonna get nitty gritty. We're gonna get nitty gritty. We're gonna get into the details of life, and I'm just excited to sit here and chat with you. I've been drinking a lot more water this year, which has been a good thing. I feel like it started with my infection. Oh my gosh, there's so much to tell you guys. So last year around this time, life was normal. I was actually in Thailand during this time and came home. I ended up going to Florida for a bit, and then I went to Mexico with my family last March. And that's when we were watching on TV and saw all the news about the rise of the pandemic and all of these questions about it coming about. And we actually went to Mexico because my grandparents had never been there. It was always like their dream to go to Mexico. So we brought my grandparents there, and they're originally from Vancouver. That's where my family is from. And when we came home, you know, the height of lockdown and the pandemic was sweeping across the globe, so much so that my grandparents actually ended up staying here in Toronto. They stayed here at home with Dave and I, and we took care of them for about a month and a half before April-ish, when we felt like it was safe for them to go home. We didn't really want them to go home. That was really tough for me because they essentially helped me grow up. They raised me for a large part of my younger years, and sending them home to the other side of Canada where I didn't know when the next time I would see them was really heartbreaking for me. I still haven't seen them since, at least not face to face. We've definitely done virtual ones, and I know that so many of you guys have probably and still haven't seen your loved ones, especially your elderly loved ones as well. So I know that you guys probably feel my pain. But amidst all of that, in April 26th, the day actually that we sent my grandparents home to Vancouver, we found out that my grandfather on my dad's side had passed away. And it wasn't COVID related. He had been struggling with his health for a really long time, but it was earth-shattering. Just because seeing my father kind of go through that during a pandemic was really hard. And I think that so many of us have gone through so much last year, and a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, and that was definitely one of the hardest parts for us and for myself, and attending and arranging, you know, a funeral during lockdown. Obviously, because it was in the heat of lockdown when he passed away, we weren't able to really say goodbye. And so that was kind of hard, as you can imagine, and I'm sure it's been so hard for all of you as well who might have lost loved ones during the pandemic. But anyhow, that was the beginning of lockdown for me, and so it definitely struck a nerve. And you know, I think at the first lockdown, it was really hard existentially for me. I just had so many questions in my brain about, you know, life and death and what it all meant, and it was really tough. I found that things like working out, and that's kind of when you might have seen me post a lot of my workout videos and stuff like that, because I really tried to channel my energy into something positive, which I think we all kind of tried to do. But you know, you still have those thoughts at night. So I definitely took to journaling as well to kind of get my thoughts out. I am a true extrovert in all senses of the word. There are introverted extroverts, extroverted introverts, people on the spectrum of like the introvert and extrovert. Most people are a mix, but I am a true extrovert, not in the fact that like, oh, I just like to party and like be around people, but I'm actually one of those people who get energy from other people. And so without energy from other people, it was something that I had to learn to kind of develop on my own. And that was a huge struggle for me for, I would say, anywhere from March all the way to June, July probably. And then the summer came about and it was a lot better. You know, our numbers here in Canada were going down, so they loosened up restrictions a lot and things started to kind of feel a little bit more normal, with the exception of obviously wearing masks and still social distancing and things like that. But we were able to, you know, have our little bubble that we saw, and that was awesome. But then now we are back in a full lockdown, and amidst the second lockdown at the beginning of it, I actually ended up having a jaw surgery to remove like a really complicated wisdom tooth that was putting a lot of pressure on my jaw, and so much so that they actually had to crack my jaw a bit. And I developed an infection from that, which ended up spreading and causing a lot of complications and possibly nerve damage and breathing issues. So had to go in for an emergency procedure for that. Got that figured out, but that was a really tough time as well. Right before the holidays, it was like 3 weeks of horrible pain. If you're on my Instagram, you'll definitely have gone through that with me. But that was pretty much my year and the large moments in my year last year. And man, 2020 did not give anybody a break. I definitely didn't have it as bad as so many people I know out there. I'm so lucky to have you as a community here behind the screen and to have a job still and have a roof over my head still. And I know that's a lot of things that a lot of people don't have. So my heart definitely goes out to those people and the small businesses that I've had to close down. You know, we all try our best. And I think that's another thing to kind of highlight, is that we're all just doing our best. And so I feel like, especially 2020, but moving into 2021, one of the things I learned was that empathy and kindness has been more important than ever. And if there's any message I really want to share, it's that is where we find success. It's in empathy and it's in kindness, and it's not always possible. And I know it's not always easy, but we need to try our absolute hardest to be empathetic and be kind and understand that every single person is living a different reality. Somebody who is a person of color that's coming from a lower income family is going to have a completely different experience than somebody else who isn't. And that doesn't mean one experience is better or worse than another. It just means that they are different. And the empathy and understanding that we put towards knowing that people live different lives and being kind despite varying different views is so important, especially now. Anyways, that little tangent aside, that has been the last 365 days of my life. And amongst that, obviously, has been huge world events. This is a year that is going to go down in history. Sometimes I think to myself and I'm like, girl, you are living what's going to be in the history books right now. And in good ways and bad ways, obviously. I think good ways, obviously, because we've grown out of trauma. Trauma being, you know, so many different things that have happened this year that have been absolutely wrenching on our souls. You know, the election, the Black Lives Matter movement, all so important, such important moments in history that have kind of guided us to where we are today and will definitely be written about. And I think it's caused a lot of introspection. So I don't know, I guess 2020 has been a lot of introspection. Relationships. I feel like 2020 has taught me that is the true value you have in your life, is the relationships with people you love and hold dear, even when you can't, and especially when you can't see them. So I feel like my relationships with my family and my friends definitely got a lot better. I feel like my relationship with my audience, with you guys, with my community got so much better because, you know, it wasn't just filled with travel and fun and fashion anymore. It was, I had to actually just be me. And I feel like I found a lot more about myself this year than ever before. I don't know if that's the same for you, but when it comes to your relationship with your partner, holy macaroni, am I sure that got put to the test for so many people, myself included. Dave and I work together, obviously full time, 24/7. Not obvious. I don't know why I said obvious. It's obvious to me. But working together and living together through a pandemic, I feel like you just go through deeper shiz together, you know, like the questions that come up, the hardships you go through, the mental state that you're in, it all just changes so much and really puts a strain on your relationship. Some relationships flourish, some relationships don't. Mine did a little bit of both. I feel like we went through a lot of very important conversations because of 2020 that wouldn't have probably happened otherwise. And now we're in a good place, but I feel like throughout it all, there were so many peaks and valleys. And my dad always tells me that life is like a roller coaster and that it goes up and down and up and down. And I feel like there were a lot of those in 2020. But relationships, man, they're hard. Like maintaining intimacy in a relationship, maintaining coexistence in a relationship. Dave and I have been together 10 years, so I feel like we've gone through a lot already. Obviously not as much as like 30 years of marriage or something like that. We are not married, which is another thing. If you guys want us to do like a couple Q&A, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll open up like a question box on Instagram for everybody to kind of submit their questions. But man, it was a doozy when it comes to relationships. On the subject of money, I feel like 2020 taught me that money is not everything, but money is also a tool, and knowing what you need to do with your money and how to manage your money and how to use your money and also how to enjoy your money is super important. And that comes from a place of privilege for me. It comes from a place of somebody who is not worried about putting food on the table or a roof over their head. And I recognize that that is absolutely my privilege. And there are so many people who don't have that. And so I recognize that entirely. And always also know that creators behind the screen and behind the doors do things that you might not see. Some things that are good and some things that are bad, but I just feel like there's a lot of judgment on creators, and you know, to some extent, rightfully so. I feel like we put our lives out there for the world to see, and so we are naturally opening ourselves up to opinions, and I think it's good. I think it's good to have conversation and opinions about things, but before you go and judge your favorite creator or something like that, just know that there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes that you might not see. Anyhow, that was a tangent. My point being is that I feel like money just got redefined for me in 2020, and I opened up a stock portfolio thing with the help of my dad. He kind of helped me create that, and I'm one of those people who are just horrible at finance, things like that. Like, I'm good with saving my money, but I'm not really good at the whole financial market. Anyways, so that's what I did there. I feel like I'm really lucky to be looking at money the way that I am looking at money in 2021, but I think the big change that happened for me moving into this year was just like redefining what it meant to me, money as a term. Style, oh my goodness, I feel like my style has changed so much, and if you've been with this channel for more than a year, more than 2020, like before 2020, you will most definitely have seen my style change. And I think that's what's fun about fashion and style, is it represents what you are living and the reality that you're living. And for me, that meant really moving my wardrobe towards neutrals and basics, still having those key statement pieces that really spoke to me, but not really buying as many of those things. And I think that it's because, to be honest, it's just harder. It's harder to wear things that are super loud and statement making when you are needing to piece together outfits that are both comfortable and wearable all at the same time. And I feel like my wardrobe really focused in on the elevated basics that I have in my closet, and I love it. Honestly, I feel like this moment in my life is when I've enjoyed my closet the most. Like, I never worry about what to wear. I just pick up what I feel like wearing and then kind of piece together around that singular piece, and everything kind of matches together, which is amazing and just makes me feel so much better about what I have in my closet. I did a huge closet purge earlier this year, and I plan on doing another one. I also feel like, obviously I share a lot of hauls and shopping on this channel. It's kind of my subject topic, I suppose you could say. But I think my philosophy of shopping has changed a lot. I don't just, if I love something, it doesn't mean that I still have to keep it. It means that I have to get to ask myself whether or not it's going to add value to my wardrobe. And that's kind of what I'm going into 2021 feeling is, one, am I investing in this piece for longer than a year? Will I wear it for longer than a year? If it's like a crazy statement piece, do I still think that I'm going to love this crazy statement piece in 2 years? Not just right now, this month. And that's kind of how I think my style has changed and evolved, and my shopping habits have changed and evolved. Obviously, I still do hauls here. I kind of mentioned this in my recent video, but I wanted to make it really clear that even though I do a lot of shopping in hauls, I don't want you to feel like you need every single thing that I show you. The reason why I do shopping in hauls and how much I love sharing them is because I find them really helpful to kind of see and try on and get a look at things in a deeper way than just a picture online, because I feel like that doesn't really show me anything. And so I try them on and I haul with you guys so that we can kind of share in that experience of trying something on together. I kind of see it like we're friends kind of in a change room kind of setting, and so I'm gonna keep doing them. But I do want to make it really clear that you don't need everything that I share. In fact, you probably don't need most of the things that I share, but if they are things that you have been looking at or wanted a review on or had seen and just wanted a little bit more information, I hope that they're helpful for you, and I hope that my perspective on them and what I share in my hauls is helpful for you. But yeah. As a whole, as a creator, it is a mumbo jumbo of things. Like, we're always on, you know, that's the truth. I think we're always on. There are some people who, you know, have to force themselves to be on. I just feel like myself, I think that being an extrovert, you naturally just are a chatty Nancy. So I can make this video probably an hour long, just chatting to a black lens. But I thrive off of chatting to you guys. But I still feel that pang on those days where you're like, I don't want to create, and yet I have to because I have a schedule to maintain. Those days still come, no matter how on the spectrum of introverted and extroverted you are and how much you love your job. And obviously dealing with hate is also difficult, even if you have a positive mindset. Like, I feel really good about where I am and who I am, and it allows me to kind of block out the hate a lot better than I used to, but it still gets to you, right? You're a human being. So I don't know, I just try to remind myself that if people are hurting, that's when they hurt you. And I think there's a lot of hurt in the world right now, so if that's what they need to feel better, so be it. But I'm trying, but it is hard sometimes, for sure. Anyhow, I just really wanted to sit down and have a regular chat with you, just human to human, and chat about where I was and how I was feeling and what I had been going through. But I want to know how you guys are doing too. Let me know. I mean, the only like form of dialogue we have here is the comment section below, so let me know if this year feels better to you. How was your last year? You know, what did you go through, if you feel open to sharing that? I feel like you have helped me grow so much as a human being on this channel and on my other social platforms. You literally have helped to mold me into who I am today. And I know that social media gets a really bad rep for, you know, causing a lot of issues, but for me, I really do feel like I found myself through sharing my life. So I want to know how you're doing. I want to know how things are. How are you feeling? How is 2021 going for you? I know in different places of the world, we're all going to have different experiences, but I'd love to know. And other than that, oh, I was making music. Other than that, I just wanted to say Happy New Year. We are on this journey together of 2021. We are going to champion through it. We are going to make the best with what the world throws at us this year. And I can't wait. I can't wait to share my life with you. I hope that we can travel again soon. I hope that we can enjoy life and wear beautiful clothes and try things on together more this year. And I hope to do more of these. I hope to kind of sit down and level with you guys and chat more about just life in general. So I also feel like this would be a really good, every January I make kind of one of these, and then I can kind of look back and we can look back and see where we all were this time last year. I don't know. I think that would be really cool. Maybe I'll make that a reality. I was also thinking about possibly vlogging, like not outfit vlogging, just general vlogging. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. But anyhow, just wanted to say hi. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for shaping the woman that I am today. Thank you for being with me through 2020. I hope that you're doing okay, and I'm sending you lots and lots of love. But with that, I hope you all have an inspiring rest of your day. Remember that kindness doesn't cost a thing, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye. Damn, girl, that was a lot of rambling. If you made it this far, you're the